I'm gonna take this old school cut of meat and smoke it in a new school kind of way. Stay tuned. All right, so I'm starting with a 6-pound USDA choice top blade from 1855. If you guys have never cooked one of these, it is absolutely delicious. Now, if you guys have never heard of a top blade, it is one of 3 major muscles on a shoulder clod. Now, back in the day, a lot of barbecue joints were making shoulder clods and turning that into pulled beef or pulled beef sandwiches, and it is absolutely delicious. Now, anytime that you see the badging from 1855 on a meat package like this, that means you're gonna get upper 2/3 choice or prime beef. And not just any prime beef, this is Black Angus beef. Now, one thing I love about 1855 is that the meat is consistent. The quality of the meats is always consistent. I used to buy the briskets from 1855 and my beef ribs from 1855 as well. So this top blade is known for its tenderness. It's got really nice marbling, and a lot of people will separate this into steaks known as the top blade steak and the flat iron steak as well. I'm gonna be smoking this top blade like a brisket. Got a nice fat cap on this side, and this side is a little bit leaner. Now, we do have quite a bit of silver skin right here, and we've got some connective tissue. Anytime that you see this connective tissue, that means there was a bone right here, so we definitely got to remove that. So I've got my fillet knife. I'm going to go under this connective tissue just like this. This knife is nice and flexible. Come out the other side just like that, and run your knife right under that connective tissue. Just like that. Lift up this flap and cut in the opposite direction. Just like that. Go ahead and take some of that silver skin off as well. So I recently visited Leroy and Lewis out in Austin, Texas, and I had their flat iron steak, and it was absolutely amazing. In fact, Leroy and Lewis has made this cut of meat extremely popular. Again, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of barbecue joints will use the entire shoulder clod and use that for pulled beef, but what Leroy and Lewis is doing is they are slicing this. Now, this fat cap right here isn't extremely thick, so I'm just going to take off a little bit off the top. All right, so that looks good right there. I'm just going to move this aside. All right, let's make our rub. I'm starting with 4 tablespoons of black pepper, 3 tablespoons of kosher salt, 1 tablespoon of granulated onion, 1 tablespoon of granulated garlic, and 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika. All right, put our lid on it and give it a good shake. All right, I am not going to be using any binder. And I am going to be smoking this fat cap up, so I'm going to season the bottom side first. Add enough of this rub. Again, this is a thick cut of meat. Always press down on the rub. Do not rub it in. Flip her over. And season up that fat cap. Man, that smoked paprika smells absolutely amazing. Don't forget your edges. So I did watch the video that Leroy and Lewis came out with, and they use a very similar rub. If not, it's exactly like this. So I'm going to set this in my fridge overnight. And tomorrow, we're going to pop this in my smoker. Stay tuned. All right, so 24 hours later, it's time to kick the tires and light the fires. All right, so I've got my firebox loaded with some Texas Post Oak from Gourmet Wood Products. Check them out at Academy Sports and Outdoors. And as always, I'm starting my pit with my grill gun from Grill Blazer. Again, check them out at the links below. All right, so I've got my pit lit. I want these splits to turn into coals, so I'll see you guys in about 20 minutes. Stay tuned. All right, so I've got my Bison Red Dog running at 250 degrees. Let's go ahead and load up this flat iron. Man, check out this awesome color. It's got a nice reddish color. Got plenty of pepper on there as well. So I'm going to be placing this flat iron right in the middle of my smoker, the thickest part of the flat iron towards the fire pot, and the thin part towards the exhaust. So Leroy and Lewis also dry brines their flat irons, and then they season the very next day in a heavy coating of salt and pepper. So I'm just going to add a little bit more salt and pepper on the top, just like that. Again, I've got my Bison smoker running at 250 degrees. I'll see you guys in 2 hours. Stay tuned. All right, so 2 hours have passed. Let's take a look at our flat iron. Looking nice. So we got a really nice color after 2 hours, but I definitely want a darker bark than that. Let's get an internal temperature. Right in the middle, the thick part of the flat iron. And we're still at 120 degrees. So at this point, as the ice cream man comes into my video, I'm gonna spray my flat iron with apple cider vinegar and water mixed at 50-50. So I'm gonna let my flat iron continue to smoke at 250 degrees for 2 more hours, and I'll bring you guys right back. Stay tuned. All right, so we are just over 4 hours on our cook. Let's take a look at this flat iron. All right, so our bark is starting to form on the outside edges and this top piece right here. Still a little light right here on this top end of the point. Now I'm calling this a point in the flat because it looks like a brisket, but it's not a point in the flat. But again, it's still a little bit light right here on the top. So let's get an internal temperature. All right, so we are at 143. So the flat iron is starting to curl right here on this tip, and I don't want that to overcook, so I'm going to foil tip that. And foil tipping is a very simple process, guys. I do this a lot on briskets. Just wrap a piece of foil nice and tight around the tip of this. Just like that. Going to add a little bit more spritz. Now I am going to be foil boating this flat iron, but not until it hits about 160 degrees. So I will see you guys in about an hour and a half. Stay tuned. All right, and just like that, we are at the 7th hour. Let's take a look at our flat iron. Oh yeah, that bark is looking really nice. It's starting to sweat. Let's get an internal temperature here. Wow, 165 degrees already. 170 closer to that flat. Now this point side, or the thicker side, isn't quite as tender, so I'm gonna let this go a little bit more, but I am gonna foil boat this. Man, this flat iron has shrunk to about half of its size, but it did get a little bit thicker. So I've got 2 sheets of super thick aluminum foil, and we want to come up to the edge of the flat iron, only exposing the top part of it. Just like that. So as far as the internal temperature, I'm looking for about 180 degrees. I do not want to take this to a brisket temp of about 200 degrees. So 180 is the target temperature. I will see you guys in a few minutes. Stay tuned. All right, so the flat iron is ready, and the total cook time was 8.5 hours. And look at this bark. It's nice and crunchy. That fat cap is sitting on top of this meat right here, and it smells absolutely amazing in here. So I pulled the flat iron at 178 degrees, and it has been resting on my counter for about 30 minutes. And right now we are sitting at 162 degrees internal. So just like a brisket, I'm going to hold this for about 12 hours. Now, you can place this inside of your food warmer uncovered just like this, but I'm going to wrap mine up. And all I'm going to do is cover it up really nice and tight. Now check out this food warmer that I'm going to hold this in. So this cooler is going to be acting as my food warmer with the help of the Heater 4 from Tablesmith. Guys, let me tell you something. This Heater 4 from Tablesmith is going to be a game changer in the barbecue world. So now you can hold your barbecue at a safe temperature and keep it out of that danger zone. And let me tell you, setting up this Heater 4 is super easy. So you have your base station where you can set your temperature. I've got mine set at 143 degrees. So you simply run the cable that goes from the base station through the drain hole of your cooler. So you take your cable that's coming from your base station and you plug it right in to this cooler block. Now you can use some 3M tape that's provided in the kit to mount this plate, but I would highly recommend that you use the 4 small screws to hold this in place. So at this point, you just get your heater block, put it over that bracket, and slide it down. I'm telling you guys, this Heater 4 is going to be a game changer because I know everybody has a cooler. So I'm going to place my flat iron, also known as the top blade, inside of my cooler for 12 hours. I will see you guys tomorrow. Stay tuned. All right, and just like that, it's been 14 hours. And I've got to tell you, this Tablesmith Heater 4 has done an amazing job of holding consistent temperatures. It's showing I'm still at 143 degrees and 28% humidity, which is perfect. So let's open up the cooler. Oh man, the aroma is absolutely amazing. So disassembling the Heater 4 is really simple. Just pull up on the block like this, unplug it from the main module, pull out your heater block and cable, pass it through your drain, and you are done. You've got your cooler back. All right, let's see how we did. It's like Christmas in August. Oh my goodness, that bark is insane. So I'm gonna try to keep all of these juices inside of the foil. Oh my goodness. Look at this. All right, so I'm just gonna pour some of the juices over the top here, just like that. All right, let's take the tip off and make some burnt ends right here. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This is extremely juicy. Hopefully you guys can make that out on the camera. Yes, I am gonna squeeze it. Wow. It's kind of got a gelatinous texture right here. Man, this smells and looks absolutely amazing. Look at that smoke ring right there. Oh yes. So I'm gonna make some burnt ends out of the tip. And this is really tender. Now again, we only took this to about 178 degrees. I think if we would have gone 200 degrees like a brisket, this would have fallen apart. All right, let's get some slices. Oh man, that fat cap on the top is really nice and tender. Again, the aroma is ridiculous. It smells so good in here. You got that seam in there, separating the top blade and the flat iron. Wow. Look at this. Nice and juicy. Again, you got that gelatinous texture, and even the fat is nice and gelatinous, but it did turn a nice yellow color, almost like a well-rendered brisket. This is going to be delicious. Man, I can't wait anymore. Let's get a taste of this. All right, let's see how we did on our flat iron. Look at that. Beautiful smoke ring, nice and juicy. That bark is absolutely perfect. Here we go. Wow. The mouthfeel on this flat iron and top blade together, it's got a gelatinous texture to it. Nice and beefy, not overly beefy. This is amazing. That bark and that outside edge has the perfect amount of salt. This is amazing. Let's try these burnt ends right here. Again, it looks absolutely amazing. Here we go. Man, this is so good. That bark right here with all that seasoning is absolutely delicious. You guys know how much I love brisket, but this flat iron right here is the best bite of barbecue I've ever had. So the only mistake that I made in this cook is not cooking more of these, because this is absolutely delicious. So if any of you guys own a barbecue restaurant, get with your meat supplier and ask them for these 1855 top blades. I absolutely love how creative some of these barbecue joints are getting with these old school cut of meats and doing it a new school kind of way. And this flat iron is a perfect example of that. Great job, Leroy and Lewis. So what's next? What other meats are out there that barbecue joints can get creative with? Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with brisket, ribs, and sausage, but when these barbecue joints get creative with these cuts of meat, that really sets the bar. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If this is your first time to my channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Until next time, Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. See ya. Gotta give me one more bite.